is that from, TDP? Who's courage from?
Dustin and Langdon.
Okay. Little hip. Can't go wrong with the hip if you have a tree fella. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That's great. Throwing it out there. Smart. All right. I like it. I like that one. All right. And again, does it really get you jacked up after a win?
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm a Canadian. I like tragically hip. I don't actively seek out a lot of hip songs. But you need to get jacked up, right, John, after a win? Or something to celebrate in a feel-good manner, right? Like you hang around, the crowd can come together and it's a big party? Yeah. Okay, I like that. Okay. All right. The season's here. Starts tomorrow night in Edmonton against the Oilers. Two 19-year-olds make the team. Same for Excavator. He didn't have the best camp, didn't have the best preseason, but he was making the team either way because they weren't going to send him back down to junior. Well, great, go score 150 points at junior, great, son, I'll be your development. Matt Gritton all of a sudden makes this team at the 19-year-old, and I asked Matty, before he comes on here, John, what were the chances of him making the team heading into camp? What percentage was given that the guy was going to make the team? Because I think it was very low. Very low. And well, the rookie showcase, whatever they're calling it now, head-to-head with the Oilers, then there's a little blip on the radar. That passing out of the corner. Oh, yeah. The right middle of the front of the net when they had a first preseason game. Yeah. Was that the first one? First or second, I think? Or the first year, Matty? Yeah. One of the 8. Let me go back 8 games ago. Yeah. But, so that might have brought him down a little. Yeah. Yeah, I did not have the trajectory continuing to climb from that point on, and it's been seismic. Like, he just captivates you from calling his own shootout move, the Gritton signature, which, by the way, I think is going to change. Sure. I think he's got enough heat from the room that it might not be going to call him that anymore. Yeah, Clark Kirkland's got that. And then finding goals, which this team so sorely needs. So I'm excited. It's added a lot of juice in the room. You can tell the guys are happy for him, and there's some added enthusiasm. The question is, you go back a year ago, and Sharon Govinson's first 100 is going to So how long does it last for Gritton? If he keeps scoring, it's going to last. Well, the year before that, it was Coronado. Yeah. Who started the season and had to go down to the Rainbows for much of the year too. But kind of been a bit of a trend here, where you have a rookie make the team at camp, so you get excited, and then the game gets harder step by step. On getting for himself, but then eventually you end up back in the AHL. And I don't think it's a bad thing either. But for a quick set, a team that has a little trouble producing offense, right? If you can get a little bit more from Matt Gritton, looking way right out of the game here, especially if he does end up playing Thompson Coronado. Those are 3 guys you're going to have to put the puck in the head. And you worry a little bit about the defensive end, maybe, but you're going to be working on the offensive start, and you're going to have to do the ball thing, trying to kind of fuel your offense early on in the season. One of the biggest tests for both wherever he's been and Gritton will be, are they sheltered against the team's best players, or are they head-to-head? And where they are going head-to-head. Now, maybe a little bit more with Gritton, because there's some options. You can change his minutes and play him on the power play, but I think there could be a chance we see Gritton beside Cadre. Would you be totally surprised if there's some in-game movement there? I would. No, not necessarily. Like, the only problem I just run into is your first, 13 games end up on the road. And it's not like you're just a bunch of floods either. You got the Oilers Canucks back-to-back. You have the Mammoth and the Vegas Golden Knights on a 2-game road. One game out to Winnipeg. And you start an Eastern road trip right at the end of the month where you go Toronto and Ottawa. So all of those teams have some guys that you would want some of these 19-year-olds to try and stay away from as best as you can, but that might not be an option for you. So it's going to be one of those challenges for Ryan Husker. Like you said, though, I would not be surprised if you see this lineup change a lot in-game over the course of the first month, because it's one of the things that I think I recommended Husker for on the show before, is that he's got a good feel for the bench when guys aren't going, versus when guys are going, and he's not going to sit on his hands. Like, he's going to make that that change pretty quick if he feels like it's the right thing to do. So I would totally agree with
Morning,
you.
everybody.
We could see a lot of kind of
This is how the bucket's designed.
fluctuation in where Britton actually ends up playing most of his minutes in the
Having
first
the
month of
sides
season.
cut out lets me
And I
sit
feel like
anything
they're
up.
giving him a good spot up top.
If I had
Starts
sides on the
there.
bucket, then you
I'm sure
fight
some more
everything.
commentator would have loved to have been, but you could all
It's specifically
honestly
designed
say
for
that maybe
concrete.
Britton outplayed there before he played camp. So that's where he starts. But further to your point, with the Pulsars, we have other options. Sure. I know it's the first period. I would say after the second. And then it's Cadre, Clapta, Fairview line. It's absolutely fascinating, especially with my that's my ride or die this season, John. So I'm Clapta's my ride or die. I'm looking forward to Adam Clapta. Make news. You're going to see him every time he's out there. Absolutely. And he's got this incredible confidence for a guy that size. Out there, he's just fun to watch. But that line is fascinating. Either they'll be great from offense, they'll be tough, or they'll be terrible. I don't know what we're going to get from that line. I think it's the most fascinating line to practice. There is a lot going on there potentially with that trio. If it's the Klapka that you fell in love with in the last quarter of last year, then it's going to be a great addition. With all the skill, the people where Huberto scored most of his goals from last year. Yep. Unique to that part of his career, but gosh, Mark's down, circles down. Klapka's that guy. So if you can recreate some of that magic with different players, then we know it works. Huberto did that a lot last year. Klapka can be the same guy. In fact, probably a little more bullish in that area at the top of the tree. Last year, there was the huge night in Colorado to kind of keep that late push going. Klapka was part of the genesis of that night. He finally felt like he understood what was needed of him. Well, now he's going to the test right away in game number 1. Against the Oilers on the top line. I think it's an added bonus if you get a big man like that starts to stop. More than that in the power play now because that's Huberto's spot. It's an option. I have no idea what the power of the lines have been like over the last few games. That's probably more like your alley, but we saw in the preseason that Clapta was in the crease. He was the second power play guy a lot of times, but Huberto out of the opening. Especially you want some size in there, screen the goalie, create some traffic, some havoc. He does play something we see a lot in the NHL, big guys that don't play up to their size. Well, he does. Sure. This is already good. Brittany Cross, Green Coronado on the left side, Leader on the right, second CP is Blake Coleman, Michael Backman, Connor Gary, Russ Anderson, and Yegor Schwartz. Wow, okay, no question. That's how they're starting. But who knows? After the right guy, and you turn around and the next week, that's home against Vegas and the road in Utah. Giving those veterans their power play minutes. And it comes right away. Yeah, and then things change. 20 and 11. Well, Sharangovich is playing that low in the lineup. You need him. I understand him being out there, but Backlund and Coleman being on the power play, they're also killers. They're the top killing units. Yeah, at this point, I would much rather they focus on PK than power play, and I do think that you would have some other options kind of throughout the lineup to kind of go to. And I think maybe that Huberto injury is throwing a big old wrench into the thing.
That's barely cut, man. You can see it. Yeah, but like, you can see in the edge, it's only cut like that much.
He did play well the last, I don't know, 6-7 games of the season last year where he did finally start to bounce back and be the guy kind of we saw the year prior, but
The concrete might come anyways.
A guy who's in year 1 of his extension, who is supposed to be a guy who can score goals. I think that's kind of
right on the cut
message to Sharangovich from lineup. It's like, when you start you on the 4th line, you got to work your way up this lineup. And honestly, John, he has to be more competitive. He needs to show that fire because he's a perimeter player. And that's not the mantra of this team. They work hard, they're physical, they get in the opponent's grill. He's a guy who plays on the perimeter and doesn't really work. And he's a guy who's got a lot of skill, but you need to see compete out of that guy. I think the two players you just talked about, Klapka and Sharangovich, they're the most interchangeable, the easiest to swap. Right? 17 goes up, 42 goes down. I think you can see that in game to game. telltale sign as to what guy is going. But if the Flames are in position late in the game to find a goal, we'll see if Klapka has carved out a big enough role on the ice, or if it's just I think that going on shared goal, which is fairly it can be frustrating to watch, but at this point he's 27. I don't think you're going to see a lot of the game change stylistically. So when you say you want to see him be like more competitive, then what does that look like to you? I need him to be more physical. I need him to try to, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Right? Instead of being a guy who shies away from you, he checks in the corner and on the wall. That's what we're doing. And why do they see so much in the guy to give him this big ignition for 35 goals? Is that even possible that he can get 30 goals? I don't think he did score 35 because he was being a physical player. I don't think that changed in the years. Right. But I don't know where the change comes from him. I don't know who he ends up playing with that kind of puts him in an opportunity to get back to scoring that much. And I don't even know if he ever gets scored ever again. He's probably more of a 25 guy, realistically, somewhere in between the last 2 years that we've seen. But I just, expect him to come into this year and try and be more physical to create that offense. I think that I just don't think it's possible. It's not necessarily maybe a great offense. It's just be harder to play against because he does shy away from it. But that's something every player in the league would like him to do that too. I get that, but that's something every player in the league. You can be more physical if you choose to be. You can go to the hard areas if you choose to. Right? Yeah. It's not like he's unable to. He's a good skater. He has speed. Part of the net. We saw what Huberto did in a game that was a laugher, and now he's out because of it, because he wanted to show the guys and the coach, this isn't acceptable. I'm going to the net in an 8-1 game, and now he's hurt. And I'd like to see Jared Kovacic attempt something like that, to be a guy just to be harder to play against, instead of shrinking in the bigger moments. That's all I'm asking. And I don't necessarily disagree with saying that this is a game that you can incorporate that in the game. Who saw Jonathan Huberto as a guy who's going to play in the crease on the power play and be more of a two-way player? He's going to find himself to say, hey, I need to bring more to this team. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to get 120 assists on the plane. I need to add another element to my game. And he did that last season. Why can't Sharon go to release this to him? Why is it be harder to play? I think he's a good player. There's no question he is. Of course he is. But I'm saying it's not out of the realm of possibility that a guy like Sharon could just be a little harder to play against. That's all I'm asking. I don't think that's done. I think he's better when he's a little rigid.
That's all asphalt, those little chunks?
Thank you. I think he's better when he
felt like concrete. I can pick him up.
When there is a little desire there. I think on a line right now that's going to force him into that. You would think.
I think
And if he's up with Kadri, typically
his dark though.
91 pulls you into the play.
Welcome to Calgary.
Has a solid shot, takes forever to get it off.
Sure, Cody.
Loading up
All these miles.
But the other thing I will say is that when he does get the slot into those areas, he's pretty good with soft touch on point shots, a deflection, things like that. The underrated way that he scored goals. He did a couple of things like that, where if he gets stick on it, he can usually make it look pretty good. But you gotta go there. And you gotta kind of produce on the wall, shoot the wall, point. As soon as you make that pass back to the point, try and find a way. Try and find a way to make sure that you're screening the goal, he's getting stick on it, doing the biggest. I agree. I would like to see more of that type of play. I just don't know if there is. I just don't know if there's DNA to go out there and be someone that's going to win more battles than he loses. To throw out an open ice just to the opportunity there. I don't see it. I think I agree, but I'm along with the again. Okay, if there's a puck battle. Yeah. Short as time as you can be like, listen, he's healthy this year. Let's hope that means something. Right off the hop. It's been a long time ago. I'm not saying it's I'm just saying just be a little harder. Like, that was the voice of John Abbott. He is the play-by-play caller who wants to play sports by really sports on Imperial. First segment's already done. We're going to talk to McDavid. Hey, Dad, I want to talk about this blue line on the plane. And we're going to play some plane victory stuff and get some Americans that I like. Let's go. And we're going to talk to Dennis Burke. He's predicting the going for the line. We haven't missed one. Good people on those lists. Yeah. We haven't missed one. So today is the day. The Ripken streak is going 31 for 31. You know what? Tell the story. We have like quite a few drops. They're all sort of team ground. Yeah, and we're giving away that spot for 365 golf. You have lunch at City with golf tournament with Maddie and I on Saturday the 25th. How you can get into that contest on the 969 Facebook Mortgage text line. Give us your Flame Victory song suggestion. Lots to do in the 8 o'clock hour. Sportsnet 960 the Fan.
We are your home for Blue Jays baseball. Swinging a line drive.
No, I got my phone up in a holder over my shoulder.
Sportsnet 960 The Fan. On air and online. This is your home of Calgary Flames hockey. Brought to you by Home Miami and Country Hill Sport. Sportsnet 960 The Fan.
Hey, fall prep is underway, which means it's chipping time at my house. And here's a tip for you. Book your fall jobs now before pros get busy so you don't have to stress. I already locked in my Eve clinic.
Yeah, I'm just mounted a phone up on a window behind me. I'm in a cab, so I got windows all around.
You'll be taking care of the rest of it too. Try it for yourself and download the Jiffy app or sign up at jiffyondemand.com with the code FAN960 for $25 off of your first
And send whatever you want to OSHA, man. This shit ain't in America. Why are you Americans such whiny little bitches? Why does it always say Americans? You're here for OSHA like you're fucking smart or something. For one thing, we ain't breaking any fucking rules. We have fucking blood all the time. Number two, you're a fucking retard. I hold permits where I can shut down this entire fucking road if I want to at a whim. So, fuck. Unreal. Couldn't even be the safety guy, and you want to come on here and act like you'd be able to freaking point anything out to anyone. I've known 20 years of doing it, and I've never had one problem. So I think I'll go off my experience. So I'm gonna go check out the stock market, see what's going on in the world. Yeah. We'll be here sometime. I'll be back, guys. Thanks for watching.